Yo, what's up guys, this is your boy Glass Gaming. Today I'm going to be doing a video on Performapal 2021, so let's get into it. So Performapal 2021 is a pretty fun deck. It's similar to the list I saw on YouTube a little bit ago, which has changed out some things that I think would be important to the list. And yeah, let's just get into it. It's pretty fun. It can win certain matchups because of the Zoo engine and cards like Tornado Dragon and win your Eldritch matchup and Abyss Dweller and stuff like that. But yeah, anyways, let's just get into it. We're going to start off by playing 3 copies of Performapal Second Donkey. Performapal Second Donkey allows you, whenever it's normal or special summon, to add or dump a Performapal depending on if your pendulum zones are full from deck to grave, or add a card from deck to hand. So basically, this will get you straight to your Pendulum Sorcerer. Pendulum Sorcerer makes everything work from there. And yeah, it's just really broken, to be honest. Then we're going to play 3 Pendulum Sorcerers. I'd like to play more targets for this card. If it's special summon, you can target up to 2 cards, you control destroy them, and then you can add Performapal. So sometimes you can pop your Trick Clown, you can pop your Hat Trick Food, you could pop, let's say, you're not going to be scaling Dark Worm at all, but you could pop maybe your Zephra if you accidentally scale him. And yeah, you can just get free searches for days. Then we got 3 Celestial Magician. This basically gets you strong plays. It's also a level 4 Dark Spellcaster that is a Magician and a Performapal and an 8 scale. So yeah, you can see why we're playing 3 copies of this card. It's insane in this deck. Anyways, this is the whole Performapal lineup. I like to play Lizard Draw and Good Turtle and more stuff like that. It's a little too freaky. If you guys really want one, I can try to update another deck profile, but more pure version of Performapal. It might have to include stuff like dragons though, just so it can function properly. This is more of a rank 4 Performapal. Then we played 3 copies of Harmonized Magician and 1 Purple Poison. Originally I was playing stuff like Black Fang instead, so I can pop it from my Pendulum Zone to summon a Dark Spellcaster, but I realized it never comes up. I'd rather just, summon another Celestial than summon a Black Fang. And then we have the utility with the Purple Poison. It's great. It doesn't really come up since we're playing all the extra deck monsters, but it's still another card, if you're not accessible to it. Then we have 3 copies of Supreme King Dark Worm. You might be saying, why 3 in this build? Well, you open this plus Pen Call, you get so much free advantage. You get to Pen Call away Dark Worm. You get to search your Harmonizing, your Celestial, if you don't already have them. You just get the free searches, and then what's going to happen from there is you can summon your Dark Worm in the graveyard, use his effect to add gate 0, then you have the 0 scale, the 8 scale, and a free body, let's say Harmonizing, which can be turned into your Ignis or Prominence, which can make really anything from there. So that's it for that right there. You got 3 Dark Worms, which I just explained, and then 1 Gate 0. Gate 0's amazing, let's just be honest. Gate 0 is crazy. It's probably one of the best Pendulum engines in my opinion. It's so crazy, it gives you free advantage, gives you free level 4 body on field. It doesn't lock you into darks unless you place it in Pendulum Zone, but that's why I told you not to. Anyways, that's it for the Dragon engine. We're running some Zephra stuff, you can tell already, and it's pretty consistent so far. I like it. It's been working out really great for me. Let's just get into the Zephra stuff now. There is 2 copies of Zephra. If you don't know what this card does, is we're not going to be using the monster effect ever. You're never going to pen summon this card, let's just be honest. There's nothing that scales can be big enough for. But basically what this card does is you're going to put in your scale, you can dump either your Satellar Knight or your Yang Zing Zephra to change the scale, and then you can pen summon it from the extra deck to get the utility. So say you need to spell a trap, or you need to get to or Providence or Oracle or whatever, you just go summon Zephra Nui, then you get to add any of these for your negates or your just utility, I guess. yeah, next following that up, we're going to be playing 2 Zephra. I hate opening this card. I hate opening any of the Zephras in this deck. It's kind of a love-hate relationship. It's weird. If you see this dude in your hand, you don't really care. But if you do not have a high scale, you care like crazy. Because if you didn't know already, these scales, you can't really scale these unless you're playing a pure Zephra deck, because they lock you into Zephra and Yangzins and Tutelar Knights and Zephras. So yeah, they just lock you into Zephra monsters, which you really don't want to be doing. Then for the last couple monsters, we were running one copy of Master Pendulum and Draco Slayer. Originally I was running Luster so I could actually scale my Harmonizing, pop them, and add another, and go with like stuff like Oak Dragon to add it back, and stuff like that, but it never really came up. Plus it was super bricky because, I don't know, it was just not the best list I could make. And I want to put out something that's not necessarily optimized yet. That's what I'll be doing next. And then we have one Performapal Trick Clown, one Damage Juggler, and one Hat Tricker. This is your rank 4 turbo engine. You don't have to run it if you don't want to. I think it's absolutely insane. I think you should play it because you can pop stuff like, let's say, you can summon your Hat Tricker, then you can go straight into your second donkey. Second donkey will search your copy of Sorcerer. This is where you'll pen summon the Sorcerer plus Trick Clown to get your search. He summons himself back. Or you could use this one, which will just add you to Hat Tricker. So yeah, this is just rank 4 turbo right here. Plus, opening any of these two right here, plus pen call, is literally the same thing as opening the Dark One. It gives you a body. So that's like the monster lineup. I like it so far. Not really sure what I would change. I'd probably maybe add some more Performapals just for fun. But I think this is the most optimal list for competitive play. Then we play 3 copies of Providence. If you don't know what Providence does already, add the Zephra card from deck to hand, and if the Zephra will be destroyed this turn, except the card was sent to the graveyard, same, or whatever, you can banish the card just to protect it. It's really useful. I haven't had too many times where it actually came up, but in theory, 3's a lot, and it's really good because you want to see high skills, you want to see your low skills. You don't really care if you see too many of these hard ones return spells, just because how broken they are. So Duelist Alliance will be scaling something like, let's say, Purple Poison or Celestial, then you just get a +2 from adding your copy of Pen Call, and then you get Oracle, which is insane in this deck. You can't, do you see how many XZs we run into it? Anytime we XZ, we get to draw and discard a card. So yeah, that's really good. If it wasn't obvious already. Yeah, the one Oracle, and then 3 Duelist Alliance. This card gets you straight to your Pen Call. Pen Call makes everything work. Pen Call's crazy in this deck. So yeah, if you can make it a Pen Call, then you win. 1 Dragon Shrine, I like to play more with Dark Worms, but opening Dark Worm plus Pen Call is insane, but opening Dark Worm without Pen Call is kinda iffy, because you want to be committing your normal summon stuff like. I'd rather commit my normal summon to a Performapal, Juggler, Trick Clown, or Second Donkey than commit it to something that will get its scale if I just pitch it out of my hand. Then for the last spell, we were running 1 copy of Foolish Burial. This card's crazy if you didn't know already. It's a pretty simple card, it just dumps a monster from deck to grave. It's crazy. Yeah, this is basically your second Dragon Shrine. This was why we're not running anymore. Then 1 9 Pillars and 1 copy of Divine Strike. I'm not sure how I feel about 9 Pillars. Most of the time you're going to be linking away your Zephra Nui or whatever. So I'm not really sure, but I feel it's still necessary to stay in the deck. Now for the extra deck. This is going to be pretty cool. There are some things I'd like to change about the extra deck. I do not think this is the most optimal it could be, but that's what the site's for. Next, we're running 1 copy Tartan Star Magician. This is basically a searcher for the Pendulum Magicians, so you can go Harmonizing, to Purple Poison, and Time Star, and then search a Spellcaster monster. Yeah, so this card's literally free advantage. then one copy of Mistwelly, one copy of Tornado Dragon, and one copy of Baguska. There is alternative win con to the deck besides, you know, the Zodiacs and Zeus and everything. It's kind of just setting up Artifact Dag to bless your Artifact Scythe, or going Ignister Prominence to summon your Dragon Body from deck, which will literally just help you make Spears to make Morphage Goliath, or Morphage Goliath. Wow, that's a tongue twister for me. Anyways, then we played the Zoo Engine. The Zoo Engine's pretty crazy if you didn't know already. I think it can be cut down to a lot smaller, but in theory it's really strong with cards like Zeus especially. So yeah. So we're going to start by playing double copies of Chakanine, whatever you want to call it. Basically, it's a generic level 4 that you can stack up to 3 bodies, and then stack some Zodiacs. So most of the time you're going to be making Tridents. You need to free up the zone so you can make like some of your link flows. You can take 3 level 4s or more, stack them all together, and then you can stack something like a Trident, or a Borbao or a Borbo, and then put your Trident on top, and then you're good. Or if you're going second, you can set up Zeusy Boy. Zeus is crazy, especially against your control-based matchups. They can't out of Zeus, then they lose. The one thing I would change is probably cut the Borbao. I think it's really bad. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't think it's good at all in this deck. It doesn't really do anything, especially because, oh look, we're not playing any Zeus in the main deck. If we were playing something like Rapier or Ram, then I definitely play this card, but not at the moment. I don't see any reason to run it. I'd rather just go with the artifact stuff. Then we'll copy Ignister Prominence, the Blasting Draco Slayer. It's not once per turn. Both effects you can just activate as soon as you summon them out. Basically, he'll summon your copy of the Master Pendulum monster, and he also can pop a card in the Pendulum Scheme, which is, you know, really good in this deck. For instance, let's just say you put up your purple poison, you pop them, you get 2 pops. Pop 1 on your opponent's, pop 1 on yours to free up a zone. Then you got a level 8 body, which you could turn into Heavenly Spears, Dagda, IP Masquerena, Access Code, whatever you really have to pull. But it's a really great card. Then one Nightmare Unicorn. I feel there could be alternatives to this. I just think Unicorn's the best one to play at the moment. Then we played one copy IP Masquerena, one copy of Access Code Talker, and one copy of Underworld Goddess. Honestly, if you don't have Underworld Goddess or Access Code Talker, I would just play Full Sword and Truthvania. I was thinking of playing Truthvania anyways. I mean, there's not too much back row in this deck, so Truthvania could work, but at the same time, you don't want to be hitting stuff with Divine Strike on accident or them fading it out. So that's it for the extra deck. Let's get into the side. I know this isn't the most optimal side. This is just something I made. So yeah, we're gonna play 3 Dark Rulers. I think Droplet's too much for the deck. You gotta waste most of your hand with Droplet, and you need a hand to play. If you can just commit 1 card to break in a board, then it's better than Droplet in this build. There might be some other builds like just a graveyard revolving decks or relevant decks. Lunalights, Orchist, whatever. They can run that because they have grave effects. We only got like 3 grave effects, and yeah, you're not going to be pushing them off too much. Rather just negate everything. So yeah, 3 Dark Ruler because Droplet's way too expensive, and it's not really effective in your deck. 3 Lightning Storms. I might believe maybe Feather Dusters or whatever they're called, Harpy Feather Dusters, and maybe Cosmic Cyclones. But I think this does the job better, because it can either be a Dark Hole or a Feather Duster, as long as you're just starting off the turn. Plus, you know, you're going to be kind of forced to go second this time. But at the same time, if you really think about it, you got Zeus. So I'm not entirely sure on this card. Still working it on my side deck. Then 3 copies of Drone Lockbird. This outright wins a ton of matchups. It was either this or the Cypherane package. I chose this. There's no reason why we'd run the Cypheranes instead. I think they are very powerful. I think they're really good in the deck. It's just Drone Lockbird wins a lot more matchups than, you know, slapping down a Gamma. Then 3 Nibiru. Not sure how I feel about this on the side. Honestly, this could be a Gamma, but I think it's kind of necessary at the moment. Our format's kind of slow, but it really depends on what you're playing against, because you never know what you can come across. Then for the rest of the deck, we run 1 copy of Artifact Scythe, and 1 copy of Artifact Diagonal. This is your alternative win condition, so if you don't want to play stuff like Zeus, or even if you want to play stuff like Zeus, you can go, most of the time, this is what I do. I side out my Baguska to just throw in a copy of Artifact Scythe. Most of the time. But, yeah, you never know when it's going to come up, so you gotta kind of experiment with it at the same time. Most of the time, yeah, I'll either side up Baguska or Underworld Goddess to put up my Scythe, then just completely blow away combo from there. But anyways, that's the rest of the deck. Hope you people like it. It was pretty fun. I'm really tired this morning, that's why I'm a little bit jittery if you can't tell already. But yeah, if you people enjoy the video, don't forget to test it out. While you're at it, please like and subscribe. We're going to try to hit 100 subscribers this year. I think that's definitely achievable. We're already at 89. I'll be happy if we get to 90 this month. But yeah, anyways, hope people like the Zephra and like to start. See you people.